Hey, it's Mike, and I'm back. I'm gonna talk about Hare Krishna, um, cults, mostly Hare Krishna, though. But I do want to give a shout out to everybody that's protesting Scientology all over the world. You're all doing a great job. Keep it up. If you're a Hare Krishna and you came across this video, it's your lucky day. I can help deprogram you. Um, I was 20 years in the Hare Krishnas. I know all about it. I don't I don't I don't fool around. I say it like it is, and I tell the truth about the Hare Krishna and all their bullshit, and it's all bullshit. So if you're in it, you can watch this video, and maybe you'll come to your senses. Maybe you'll wake up. Maybe I can get through to into your head that you're in a fucking cult. You need to get out. And if you're not in a cult, hey, you can learn something about the Hare Krishnas and all that. So stick around, and that's what I'm going to do here. In just a moment, right now, I'm going to do the intro.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, it's Mike. I'm back, and I'm going to talk about all about Hare Krishna stuff. And I don't know, I might have had some audio problems earlier, but I think that's all fixed now. So, hey, anybody can fall into a cult. You don't have to be down on your luck. You don't have to be searching for anything. You don't have to be You don't have to be anything. Just have an open mind and not know, and not know. And it can happen to anyone. It has nothing to do with how smart you are. Anything. It doesn't have anything to do with anything like that. Anyone can fall into a cult. So that's one of the number one things. No one is immune. No one is immune. So and let me just show you this real quick here. So, you know, anyone, even George Harrison, can get messed up in a cult, and it doesn't take it doesn't take any even someone like him. I don't know what he was looking for. I mean, he was looking for something, but he wasn't depressed. He wasn't, whatever. It doesn't matter. Everybody is going through life, so nobody is going through something that no one else has never. Everybody goes through shit. Losing a job, losing a friend, losing a family member, losing a pet, losing a job, getting married, getting a job, doing something great, All of these things, all these emotions, everything happens to everybody. Even George Harrison, even Tom Cruise or John Travolta, whoever. So when people are in cults, it's not like, oh, they were stupid or they got sucked in. Now, the longer they stay in, I mean, there is some sense. I mean, they are responsible for their own destiny. So once someone starts telling you, hey, you're in a cult, or you realize that something is, and you don't do anything about it, well, then now you're going along for the ride. You're a willing participant in something. It's no longer you didn't know. A lot of people don't know. George Harrison probably didn't know a lot of the really horrible stuff that was going on, because they're not going to tell him. But maybe he did know. I can't say. But the teachings itself, women like to be raped, he had to know that's in there. I found that out from the very beginning, but I put it in the back of my head. And that's what a lot of people do. They put it in the back of their head. I can't explain it. I don't agree with it, but I'm just not going to think about it right now. I'm thinking about something else. And when I see him, he doesn't know what he got into. I don't believe he knew. I don't believe he knew everything about what was going on, what he was getting into. And like me, I didn't know everything I was getting. I had to research it. I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out for myself. I had to connect. I had to find the dots, and then I had to connect them. And it took me 20 years to figure it all out. Some people figure it out early. Some people leave because they just don't want to be on a spiritual path anymore, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm not into the meditation anymore. Kind of like someone becomes a vegetarian and then they stop, or someone gets into going to the gym and then they go, after 6 months of going to the gym, they go, you know what, not into the gym anymore. So some people might do that. They get into Hare Krishna or any cult, and then after a while they go, too many rules, too many whatever. It's not as fun as I thought it was going to be, and they bounce out. So everybody's got their own reason, but not everybody connects the dots and figures, oh my God, I was in a freaking cult. I was in a pedophile a pedophile cluster, a pedophile protecting cult. I had no idea that there was like at least 2 pedophiles at the LA Temple when I was there with my daughter. At least 2 living in the community, and that were known. They were known. People in the community knew who these people were. There's kids running around everywhere, playing and doing this. I let my daughter, she'd go play with these other kids, running around like little kids, like I did when I was a little kid. Playing hide and seek, playing tag, playing whatever with the little kids running around. And there's 2 child predators living right there in the community. And they're all protecting these people. Letting me put my daughter in danger. I mean, this is crazy. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's still there. Nothing's changed since I left 13 years ago. Same people in the temple, same guys running the temple. The same guy is in charge of the temple that was in charge of the temple when my daughter was molested 30-something years ago. It's the same guys are there. The same gurus there. The same temple president. The same. Everybody is the same. And those predators that live there in the community, they're still there too. And people don't know. People join and take their kids to the temple and put their kids in danger, and they don't even know, it. They don't even know.
There can be a ton of reasons for not having any work experience.
Hare Krishna. 20 boxes, it's 200 kg of gur for cows. We are going to feed them today and the other days. Here they are. Now we came to Goshala with very skinny cows. We noticed this Goshala sometime before. So let's do the seva together. And also I suggest when you come to Vrindavan, please always do some seva for cows. Go seva. It's very, very auspicious. Happy Diwali. It's a newborn baby. So cute and he's like a toy, but it's a real one. Baby.
These people join. Okay, so this is a channel. This is a Krishna channel. This is a family. This is a family.
Hare Krishna, our dear.
And it looks like they've been in India or been Hare Krishna for about 3 years. I don't think they have any idea what they are part of at all. They got their kids there. She's got this dog. They got their kids there. This family. I don't know where they're from. They sound like they're maybe from Russia or somewhere. And let me tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. So, if they're from Russia or some country, Eastern European country, and not just them, but anybody. Not all of these books and every conversation and everything has been translated into every language. If you don't speak English or read English or understand English that well, you're not gonna get all the conversations. You're not gonna get all the lectures. You're not gonna get all the books. There's so many. They haven't been translated into everything. So they've probably only read maybe a handful of books. got sucked into this cult. I'm totally speculating. Probably read Bhagavad Gita, maybe a couple books, other books. Got sucked into this cult, traveled to India, fell in love with India, fell in love with this whole thing. They have no idea about the child marriage, about the gurus falling down, the guru's getting his head chopped off, the guru running off with his underage girl, the guru running off with money and his therapist, the guru with the guns and the drugs and the and the prostitution and all that. The guru that was raping little boys, or the many gurus that were raping little boys and little girls, and the gurus that are still doing that to this day, they probably don't know about any of it. Because if they don't, I mean, I don't know how. I don't even know if they use the internet. They could search. They could watch my videos. They could search a lot of things and do it. But if it's not in their language, if it's not in their native language, Russian or whatever, I don't know where they're from, and I'm not trying to say I do. I'm just saying, all of these people, all these people that you see in this picture. All of these people, a lot of them are from Eastern European countries. And not a lot of Indians in this group, although they are in India and there are a few Indians there. These Hare Krishnas are mostly white people from Europe and like Russia and Europe and Asia. There are some Americans and some. There are some Americans in this group, but most of the new people coming in, most of the new people that are joining, are from Eastern European countries like Russia and after the Soviet Union fell in '89 or '90 or whenever that was. Then it opened up where devotees were able to go into these countries and start preaching, and gurus going into these countries and openly being able to just openly preach and collect money and open preachings and all that, because everything changed when the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union fell. So it opened up a whole new, what do they call it? Territory to exploit. Greetings, hey, greetings, buddy. Good to see you here. She's from the Ukraine and her husband's from Russia. Okay, yeah. So to get back to my point, is that how much do they know about the views of women in this cult? That women like to be raped, that women are less intelligent, that women are the cause of all the suffering. I mean, to a certain extent they do, because it's in the books, but the child marriage, do they realize that when their daughter is a certain age and their guru has a disciple that wants to get married and they go, hey, what about your daughter? I need a wife for my disciple. And they're like, yeah, but my daughter is only 12. That's perfect. Are they going to marry their 12-year-old daughter off because their guru tells them that you got to marry your daughter? Marry your daughter off to... I would be worried that the guru's going to run off with my 12-year-old daughter. That's what I would be worried about. But there's a good chance that their guru's going to come along and say, hey, I need a wife for my disciple. Otherwise he could bounce. He gives me a lot of money. And he wants a wife. You got a 12-year-old daughter. You got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. 2 years I'm coming for the 10-year-old. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. And it's very possible that the husband and wife could be like, yeah, take my 12-year-old daughter, and end up marrying your 12-year-old daughter off to some crazy person. Or that little girl in the stroller, when she turns 5 or 6, and they put her in the school because they have no idea the history of this school and these friggin' Krishnas, because there's a language barrier. They don't know. They don't know about the $400 million lawsuit. They don't know who Alan Dershowitz is. Friggin' Epstein Island lawyer defending the Hare Krishna pedophiles. I mean, you can't make that shit up. You can't make that up. If that was in a movie, you'd go, no way. If they made a movie and they were like, oh, who's defending the Hare Krishnas in their sex abuse trial appeal? Who's their lawyer? Oh, and in walks Alan Dershowitz. And you go, oh, that's the guy from Epstein Island. People would go, I wouldn't buy that. They'd go, no way. But it's freaking real. He defended them. He defended them while he was going to Epstein Island in the 90s, in the 2000s. The friggin' Hare Krishnas had an Epstein Island lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, defend them in their child abuse lawsuit. That's fucking insane. I hope my sound is better. I'm still having audio problems. These people putting their children in danger, they don't even know it. They have no idea this is like human trafficking, child molesting, pedophile protecting cult. They think they're just out there chanting around, dancing and singing and having a good time, while their children are in danger. These friggin' people. Look at this.
It's very noisy here. The streets are very crowded. Lots of cars and signals the whole day, the whole night. And we are staying in the hotel nearby the road, so it's quite not stressful but impressive in terms of noise. We are going back home to Vrindavan, and it will be really peaceful there. Walking with Nimai in Jagannath Puri, going to the ocean. We have that of the place where Thakur Haridas was before he disappeared.
So she has an infant and a baby in a stroller. It's like a toddler. At least 2 kids that are in danger. She has no idea. She has no idea who these people are. These people protect pedophiles. That's what they do. That's what they do. They have an office of child. They have a child protection office. Well, they did. Now they closed that down. What does that tell you? They had a child protection office which protected gurus from the allegations of sexual abuse that children make. Because not once, not one, I only know of one case that was forwarded to the police, and it was mine. I called the police. I called the police. That's the only time I've ever heard of police being involved with allegations of child abuse. I have heard of so many allegations. Everyone knows that these two at the LA temple molested this little girl. Not my daughter, this little girl. He's just walking around. Why is he just walking around? Everyone knows he did it. They took away all his service. He doesn't get to cook anymore. He doesn't get to put flowers on the temple, on the deity. He doesn't get to be, he has no position with the temple. That's an admission of guilt. They know he did. They know that little girl's not lying. They know it. They know my daughter wasn't lying. They know that.
И наделила белую силой производить эту невероятную способность материала.
Not like today, the devotee can become tired of walking to Prashad.
These people have no idea. I had no idea. I had no idea I was taking my daughter into a pedophile cluster with pedophile gurus and pedophiles everywhere, protecting them. I had no idea that these gurus had molested all these kids in the schools. I had no idea of any of that. That's not something they just come right out and tell you, hey, you seem interested in our cult. Here's all the bad shit you should know about it. No, they don't do that. But I learned stuff pretty quickly on, within a couple of years, but it came along with because even the people that were telling me about the bad stuff, they were still telling me that it was bad people coming into the movement. It's bad people. It's not the cult itself. It's these bad guys that come into that join. Isn't that amazing? So many bad people join cults and do bad stuff. How about your teachings encourages and forgives bad stuff? Like blatantly, subliminally, in every way. Krishna dancing with the gopis down by the river in the Rasa Leela. We know what the Rasa Leela is. We know the gopis are 11 years old. We know Krishna's down there with the gopis in the Rasa dance. But we're in denial because they're saying, oh, it's not sexual at all. Don't think of it as being sexual. Meanwhile, Prabhupada's talking about how the gopis, when Krishna plays his flute, and they are attracted to him, they're so turned on that milk is flowing from their breasts, and their hips are swaying, and their breasts are bouncing, and they're running off to go be with Krishna. What is that all about? Some of them are boiling milk, some of them are breastfeeding, and when they hear Krishna, they just stop everything and run to go what? Rasalila. I know what Rasalila means. Women are less intelligent. Women like to be raped. Women are less intelligent. Women are stupid. Don't give them any authority. They can't do anything but this is all, when you mix this all up day after day after day, you are driving people crazy. You're driving people insane, both the men and the women. Everybody is affected by this insanity. It's like mental blackmail, blackmailing people into thinking that when they die, they're gonna go and this karma and birth and take up another body and suffer and go to hellish planet and all of this stuff. It's insanity. Day after day hearing this stuff over and over and over. That's what they do, and that's what they do in these temples. It's like, you talk about indoctrination. You talk about indoctrination.
Sparsha Puja Stuti Abhivandanai Bhuteshu Madbhavanya Satvena Sangamena Cha Madhishnaya Darshana Sparsha.
This is what they do in their temple. So they recite these verses every morning. So this is in the morning at, I don't know what time in the morning this is. It's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. So before they did this, they were all chanting, singing, and dancing, and doing all kinds of stuff, singing all kinds of songs and prayers and everything, for about from about 4:30 till about 7:30. Then they sit down and now they're gonna read from the books and have a lecture class. And this is how they do it in the Hare Krishna temples. They go over this Sanskrit, and then they
touching, puja, worshipping,
as if it's a language class.
by offering obeisances.
So they do that. Then
One of the duties of a devotee, it is especially recommended for neophytes.
and then the founder. Then they read what the founder has to say,
There is a distinction in the
as if
manner
that is
a
also
neophyte
scripture.
and an advanced devotee appreciate the Lord's presence in the temple. A neophyte considers the Archa Vigraha, the statue of the Lord, to be different from the original personality of Godhead. He considers it a representation of the Supreme Lord in the form of a deity. But an advanced devotee accepts the deity in the temple as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not see any difference between the original form of the Lord and the statue or Archa form of the Lord in the temple. This is the vision of a devotee whose devotional service is in the highest stage of bhava or love of Godhead, whereas a neophyte's worship in the temple is a matter of routine duty. Temple deity worship is one of the functions of a devotee. He goes regularly to see the deity nicely decorated, and with veneration and respect, he touches the lotus feet of the Lord and presents offerings of worship such as fruits, flowers, and prayers. At the same time, to advance in devotional service, a devotee should see other living entities as spiritual sparks, parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is to offer respect to every living entity that has a relationship with the Lord. Because every living entity originally has a relationship with the Lord as part and parcel, a devotee should try to see all living entities on the same equal level of spiritual existence. As stated in Bhagavad Gita.
Well, that's just a load of crap. They don't see everybody equal. They see the devotee at the top of the food chain, and then everybody else is just not a devotee, and therefore they are stupid. And that's how the Hare Krishna see the world. So this idea that, you know, the self-realized, the spiritual soul, whatever, the self-realized person sees everyone equally, a brahmana, a sudra, a dog, a hog, a cow eater, whatever. They don't believe that shit. They don't believe that shit at all. But it's just more, it just shows you more of their bullshit. It's just all bullshit. So let's just see who's doing this talking.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. You have to see that Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, is not something that we take on as a hobby or as a side activity, a side hustle, keeping our own material aspirations, our endeavors in the forefront. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us how we can set the right priorities in life.
So it's interesting that he said it's interesting that he says that right there at the LA Temple, because the LA Temple president, he has a couple businesses. He's very flashy as far as his businesses and his car and all his things. These guys are so full of shit. The temple president, he runs the restaurant, so he makes money on the restaurant. He makes money on the gift shop. He makes money on the donations. He makes money on the Sunday feast that they have, the donations that come in on that. He makes money on the books that are being sold in there. He makes money on everything. And then he has his outside businesses as well. The guy makes a lot of money being the temple president in LA. Not only is he the temple president, but he's up there in the organization as far as the running the whole international organization. And then this guy's gonna sit there and talk about, this is a spiritual organization? An organization that preaches that women like to be raped, that black people should be in the jungle, should never have come out of the jungle, that they should never have been given civil rights, they should never have been freed when they were slaves. Abraham Lincoln was wrong. A man that said all this, that Hitler was a gentleman, that Hitler had nuclear weapons. I don't know if Prabhupada was just insane, didn't know what he was talking about, or just flat out lying. But for Prabhupada to sit there and say that Hitler had nuclear weapons and he didn't use them because he was a gentleman, Hitler was a gentleman, and he only killed a couple thousand Jews that were in confinement. obviously he's a Holocaust denier. He doesn't want to say that Hitler killed 6 million Jews in concentration camps. He doesn't want to say that. So he says Hitler killed a few thousand Jews that were in confinement and, according to Prabhupada, deserved it because Hitler was a gentleman. He wouldn't kill anybody that didn't deserve it. And this is a guy that they worship. They're gonna sit there and read this guy's books. Hitler was a gentleman. He had nuclear weapons. He didn't want to use them because he didn't want to wipe out. He didn't want to kill innocent people. That's what Prabhupada believed? Did he believe that? Or did he just make that up? Because he figured, well, if my disciples will believe that, if they'll believe this other bullshit, I can feed them any kind of crap I want. Is that what he was thinking? He's just going to tell his Jewish disciples. His Jewish disciples. He's got the nerve. Prabhupada's got the nerve to sit there, knowing that his disciples were Jewish. That a few of these guys are Jewish. And he's going to sit there and say, I think Hitler was a good guy. What do you think? And they didn't have the balls to sit there and go, the fuck you talking about? Hitler was a good guy. They didn't have the balls to say nothing. These guys, you wonder why they're protecting pedophiles? Say women like to get raped? Women are less intelligent? Black people belong in the jungle? This is the shit they believe? This is the shit they believe. They believe this shit. They're racist and sexist, and it comes right out. The men share it with the men, and when they get mad at the women, they call them stupid. They call them this and that. I know. I've been there. I seen it. I seen guys talk, just be so fucking rude and mean and nasty to little old Hare Krishna ladies. They're just sitting there trying to serve out food, and so, what's wrong with you, you stupid? That's why Prabhupada says, women are stupid. See how stupid you are? I seen that with my own, and not just once. Seen that shit with my own eyes. So, here, this child molesting friggin' cult. This child molesting friggin' cult. Look at this. Let me back this up.
And don't harm nature.
Shut up.
He's giving more than Vaikuntha.
Okay, so here, this is where this motherfucker is buried, okay? This piece of shit, racist, sexist, pedophile piece of shit. This motherfucker said, my wife was 11 years old and I was 22. And I took her hand and she cried. Just see, little girl, she didn't know. He thought that was funny. He thought that him having sex with his 11-year-old girl, his 11-year-old wife, 11-year-old with an 11-year-old little girl, that he said was his wife, and he was 22. He was a 22-year-old man, and he laughs about it. This motherfucker, and they put him in this. This is his where he's buried. He's buried under this thing, and look at the friggin' memorial they have for him. Solid marble pillars, marble lions, golden statue of him in its own big temple room, worshiping this guy like he's God. The guy who said women are less intelligent. Women are 9 times lustier than men. 9 times lustier than men? How about you not raping an 11-year-old girl when you're a 22-year-old man, and then turning around and talking about how lusty little girls are? You fucking piece of shit. My wife was 11 and I was 22. Ha 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 ha. And he laughs about it. Hitler was a gentleman. He only killed a couple thousand Jews that were in confinement. Holocaust denying fucking piece of shit. And they build a fucking memorial to this piece of shit. And then have little kids singing to him when he didn't give a fuck about little kids. Just about every little kid in his school was raped, tortured, molested. Fucking piece of shit. Pedophile cult. Yeah, I'm talking to you, fucking Hare Krishna pieces of shit, worshipping this fucking piece of shit, because you're all pieces of shit. Get off your ass, do some research, learn about who this guy is, what he said, what he wrote, what he lectured, what he's all about. Child marriage, pedophilia, 11-year-old wives, girls must be married before they reach puberty. Blacks belong in the jungle, should never have been given freedom, civil rights, blacks are drunks, build a library, black people just go for drinking. The fuck? This is your fucking guru? Piece of shit. Women like to be raped. Yeah, you Hare Krishnas, you come in here and you come in here and you look, but you don't never say nothing. Because you know everything I'm saying is true. You know everything I'm saying is right. You know everything I'm saying is factual. Because it's all there on your own webpage, on your own friggin' Hare Krishna web pages. You guys all know what I'm saying is true. You all know what I'm saying is true. You go right here to your own friggin' Hare Krishna page, you can read all about all the crap. Everything I say comes from you pieces of shit. You guys do a great job documenting all your crap. All I have to do is go to your own fucking Hare Krishna web pages and say, what crap do they have today? What bullshit are they trying to pull on people today? What bullshit have they pulled on people? What bullshit are they trying to pull on people? Who's molested who? What gurus run off with what little girl today? What gurus run off with some therapist today? What guru has been charged with molestation today? Well, they don't get charged. What guru has been outed as being a molester today? What guru is being protected today? It's all right here on your own fucking web pages. Your own people, your own children coming out, speaking out. All the children that you molested that you never thought were going to grow up. All the little girls that you married off that are now grown. Disgusted. Speaking out. You thought you thought it was all going to work out in your grand Varnashram plan. That you're going to marry off all these little girls. And they were all going to live happily ever they were all going to live happily ever after. Married to some 40-year-old man. Fucking sick fucks. Now they're 30, 40. Some of them are 50 years old now. Speaking out. I know a lot of you Hare Krishnas in there, you don't even know what I'm talking about. You got no idea. What's he talking about? Gurus running off with little girls. What's he talking about? Gurus having sex with little boys. Just look it up. Google it, as they say. Go to your own friggin' Krishna webpage and read about it. Read about your own $400 million child sexual abuse lawsuit. Read the Robin George case. Watch some videos from the ex-children that are talking about how they were raped behind the friggin' festival stage and left in the dirt while the rapist went back up on stage. The fuck? Go watch her story. There's a bunch. Go watch the grown man in his video talking about how, hey, I was born in Ohio. What the fuck am I doing being abused in a school in India? Why my parents dropped me off in a school? Just like those little kids. They're going to be dropped off in a school when they're old enough. And meanwhile, the mom and dad are going to be off. Oh, we're feeding people in Vrindavan. We're feeding cows. While my daughters are being molested in Mayapur. My guru just ran off with my 11-year-old daughter. I never thought that would happen. I never thought my daughter would get molested. I never thought my son would get molested. Why? Because you didn't believe all the bullshit that we've been telling you, that I've been saying, that everybody else has been saying on the internet? So now you're wandering around Vrindavan trying to feed cows with your 2 kids that are in danger of some friggin' molester? I'm showing videos of how these molesters are still in India, all over. They're still molesting kids. And we got people from Ukraine and Russia or wherever joining this cult and rushing off with their little kids to take their little kids to India. Because they don't know. They have no idea the chances of a little kid being molested in India, in Vrindavan, or in Mayapur, or in the Hare Krishna movement is like, it's like 100 to 1. I mean, it's a sure bet. Shit. Go to AI. Ask ChatGPT. Is my kid safe around a Hare Krishna temple? See what that says. See what AI says. What are the chances of my kid getting molested at a Hare Krishna temple? What are the chances of my guru? What are the chances of a ISKCON guru being a pedophile predator? See what the answer to that is. These people are nuts. Take your kid around a Hare Krishna temple or a restaurant or anywhere.
Temple and in the association of Lord Jagannath, prominent and main servant and devotee today, Raja Jayapati.
You have no idea who's the pedophile in this group. You have no idea. Well, they all protect them. We already know they protect them. And we know there's a lot of pedophiles in this cult. We know they're in there, and you don't know who they are. You know, is it this guy? Is it this guy? Is it this guy? The guy in the orange? I never, the guy that molested Maida, I would never have suspected that guy. How do you know who it is? You don't know. There's no way of knowing who it is. Little kids are in danger. It's not funny. And it's not a joke. It's serious. These little kids.
Действительно, милости Гаураванги, мы сейчас находимся у лотосных стоп Господа Джаганата. Отсюда видна чаша и флаг над куполом храма Господа. И сидим рядом с его одним из самых приближенных севаков, Раджа Джайапати.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man. I am not joking, and I'm not trying to be funny. These little kids, 10 years, 11 years from now, they're gonna be prime for child marriage. 11, 12 years old. And then that little girl's, what life does that little girl have? To be married off to some grown man. And you go, and I know a lot of you out there are going to say, well, how do you know? Because it's a cult. It's a cult. The books say, the law books say, Prabhupada says, little girls must be married before puberty to grown men. It's not a suggestion. It's not a can. It's not a may. It's a must. And if you don't believe me, talk to watch these videos of these women who said, yeah, I was married at 13. I was married at 12 years old. I was raped at 13 and married at 13 to a 26-year-old man who took me to India and told me, just wait till we get to India. I'm gonna bust your. I said, what a sick fuck. He's bragging about how he's gonna damage her having sex with her. You're not gonna be able to walk. You're gonna be. But what kind of fucking sick fuck says that to a little girl who you're marrying and taking off to India with? How fucking sick is that? That poor woman. What a childhood that these fucking Krishnas gave her. To be molested and then raped and then married off. And then she, I don't know how, I heard her story, but it's amazing how she made it out of India back into the real world after having all that happen to her. It fucking should be a movie about her. Raped as a little kid, molested as a little kid, raped as a 13-year-old, married off at 13, taken to India, abandoned by her husband when she was like 16. Then she became a prostitute in India at 16. This is what this fucking cult. This is what this fucking cult. She had a better life if she had just been abandoned on the streets of L.A. Maybe she could have become an actress or something. No. She's molested, raped, taken to India, married off at 13 to some grown man, takes her to India, rapes her there, then abandons her after a couple of years of that, abandons her in India, and she becomes a prostitute in India for a couple of years just to survive because she didn't have nothing. The cult didn't want her. She was a bad woman. She was ugh. She was raped. She had a husband and she was married and now her husband left her. She was damaged good. She's no good. Nobody wants her. The cult didn't want her. She becomes a prostitute just to survive in India. I can't even imagine what that's like. Prostitute in India. Finally, she meets, I don't know how, she meets somebody. She ends up coming back to the U.S. and getting out of the... It's like a Meryl Streep movie or something. It's like worse than Tom Hanks on a deserted island talking to a fucking football. And her dad's still in the cult, doesn't give a fuck about her. Her mom, obviously her mom didn't give a fuck about her. Her mom married her off to the fucking old guy. It's the most fucked up story I have ever heard, and I can't believe I was in the same cult in which that shit happened. It's hard to believe that the people that did that to her were reading the same. They're reading the same books and learning the same crap that these people in this room are reading and learning and believing the same exact stuff. The same crap that made her parents do what they did to her. is the same as what these people are. It's the same shit. Her dad didn't give a fuck about her. And her mom obviously didn't give a fuck because her mom married her off to some grown man. Where did her mom get that idea? Where did her dad get that idea? Where did they get the idea that that's how you treat your daughter after she's been molested and raped? What kind of person do you have to be? I mean, just in the normal, not in the Hare Krishna world, just in the normal world. If parents treated their daughter like that, they would take the daughter away, they'd throw the parents in jail. Child endangerment, marrying the daughter off against her will to some guy, human trafficking, took her to India, and then they would throw those parents in fucking jail. If that happened in Los Angeles or anywhere in the United States. It did happen in the United States. But in the Hare Krishnas, they teach that. They teach that that's normal. That's okay. That's spiritual. You can abandon your kids. You can abandon your wife. Because there's a higher purpose. There's a higher purpose in life. Goloka Vrindavan. Back to Godhead. Don't let your children and your wife stop you from going back to Godhead. That's where they get this idea. Where did this little girl's father get the idea? He didn't give a shit. Because Prabhupada says it's not your real father, not your real family. This is just temporary bullshit. That's what he says. So why do you even care? Why should you care what happens to your daughter or your parents or your brother or your sister? Because they're not really your brother, sister, friend. That's not who we really are. You see how this? We're not this body. We're spirit, soul. We're servant of Krishna. We're not. I don't have any. That's why they can just leave their families. I can just leave my. I'm gonna go join the Hare Krishnas because you're not my real mom and dad anyway. I'm a spirit soul. I'm part of Krishna's family. You're just temporary. You're my temporary mom and dad. Krishna's my eternal father. So they can just leave their family. They can leave their family and join the temple. And then if you're in the temple and you're married, you can just leave your wife and your kids because that don't matter either. They don't give a fuck one way or another. They don't care how many lives they destroy. Whether it's your family when you leave and join the temple. They don't care about your mother and father and your family and that you just went off to India to milk a cow. Your mom and dad and your brother and sister are never going to see you again because you joined some friggin' cult. They don't care. They think it's all fun and games. And then when you're married in the cult and your wife passes away like mine did, or something happens and you get tired of your wife and you go to your guru and you go, I'm tired of my wife. She's a pain in the ass. And my kids. And he goes, oh, well, you want to go to India and you want to go to Spain and open a temple? Go to Spain and open a temple and just leave your wife. And your kid. She'll be fine. We'll send her to Mayapur, we'll send her to Vrindavan, and you can go to Spain. That's what goes on. These little kids, What do you think is going to happen when these little kids grow up to be 12, 13 years old? The little girls, it's marriage time. But not even that. When they turn to be 5 or 6 years old, they got to go to school. They got to go to the school, to the Hare Krishna school, to friggin' the concentration camp, where kids are tormented and molested and raped and physically tortured and mentally tortured and everything. I know these kids are, every child in this friggin' cult suffers. Their childhood is taken from them. Their childhood is taken from them. And if that's not bad enough, they're molested and abused on top of it. I mean, not every kid has a great childhood. Some kids, they don't give a birthday cake. They don't go on vacation. They barely get some kids don't get anything. Some kids are in an orphanage. Don't get nothing. Some kids get foster care. Some kids are stepkids. They get treated bad too. Being a kid can be rough. Not every kid has it great. But then to be in a cult, to spend your childhood in a cult, and then abused on top of that, and raped on top of that, and then married at age 12. Come on, man.
So, I want to say a few words about my very dear brother, Raja.
Я хочу представить вам моего дорогого брата Раджа Пати.
Because if I ask him, oh, please introduce yourself, he's a very humble.
So they must be all Russian devotees there, because they're translating into Russian or Ukrainian or whatever it is, whatever language it is they're speaking. So that just more proves my point, or reinforces my point, that they get these devotees, they make new devotees, they recruit in Russia and Eastern European countries, because that's fertile new territory for them to cultivate. And as you can see, they got them all over there in India and worshiping these guys, and they don't even know what's going on. They don't even know what they're part of, really. They know as much as what they're telling them, because they have to translate everything into Russian for them. So if they have to translate everything for them, they don't have to translate everything. They can just translate what they want. They're never going to learn. They're never going to learn about the truth until someone translates it into Russian and tells them. And if they're in their own little bubble there, where it's just their guru and their leader or whatever, and they're always insulated from anything outside of their little Russian group, that everything has to be translated into Russian for them, then they're never going to learn. They're never going to learn about these gurus that got their heads chopped off, that got molesting little boys and molesting little girls and running off with money and running off with girls and running off with wives and running drugs and guns and prostitution and doing all kinds of things. They're not going to learn that. They're not going to learn about the kids in the schools and how they've been molested. They're not going to learn about the lawsuits and the pedophiles and the guru pedophiles, and they're not going to learn that unless someone translates it And because they're not going to know, like me, they're going to take their kids in there and not know. And then you don't know. I didn't know. I knew these two guys. I didn't know they were pedophiles. No one bothered to tell me, even my friends, so-called friends, because they can't. They would have ruined it for me. They would have said, if they would have said, hey, that guy and that guy, they've been accused, they were caught. They weren't accused, they were caught. But, you know, if from the very first day, if from the very first day I got the Bhagavad Gita, someone had slipped a note and said, hey, you don't even know, and then listed off a bunch of the stuff that I'm saying, it would have been a whole different story, okay? A whole different story. So hopefully, you know, it's a different world now, and you people out there that stumble across this video, you're not in the dark anymore. You can't say I didn't warn you. You can't say you never heard. You can't say I've never heard of such a thing. I literally had never heard such a thing. There was no YouTube. There was no internet. I was in before I started hearing stuff. I mean, I was in. And that's why like you're in, I know that you hear stuff and you're just like, no. I know. I know exactly how crazy it sounds. I'll tell you what the craziest thing, I'm going to finish up with the craziest thing, is that when it happened to me, when it happened to my daughter, I was like, well, it's going to go the right way this time. Like, there's no way that what happened in the past is going to happen in the future. Because they told me, well, that's all in the past. That's all in the past. But then when it happened to me, it wasn't in the past. Everything was the same. See? Everything was the same. The same denial, the same protecting, the same blaming the victim, the same everything. Blaming the victim, shaming the victim, all of it. So when they said that's all in the past, that wasn't true. Because nothing had changed. So saying it's all in the past was actually a big lie, a big cover-up. Because they knew that nothing had changed. The people were the same, the buildings were the same, the books were the same, the lectures are the same, the recordings are the same, the videos are the same, everything's the same. What could possibly have changed? Well, I'm saying it still. I'm still saying the same thing. Nothing's changed since I left. In the 13 years since I left, nothing's changed. Same temple president, same guru, same GBC, same books. Everything the same. Nothing has changed. Everything the same. The same two predators are still living in the LA temple. So that hasn't even changed. Everything's still the same. Everything. So if any of you people out there that have heard about gurus falling down and scandals and child abuse and murders and whatever, and they tell you that's in the past, say, what's in the past? Because everything's the same. What's changed? What's changed? Same people, same GBC, same gurus, same temple president, same lawyers, same PR people. I can name them all. Anudama is still there. Svava is still there. All the GBCs are still there. BBT, Jayadvaita is still there. In fact, a lot of these old guys have come back. Bhavananda's back. Rameshwar's back. A lot of these old guys that left are back. So it's even more like it was than it is different. So how could anything change if it's more like it was than before? You got more of these characters are back even since I left. I mean, Radhanath is big time now. Radhanath and a bunch of these guys. Rameshwar's back. Radhanath is big. Lokanath is big. A lot of these guys never went anywhere. Danadar, Yashodanandan, Bhaktividyapurna, Bhavananda, they're still around. These guys are still around. Giving lectures, giving initiation, screwing up people's lives. You really think Bhavananda's not molesting kids? You really think he's not? He's been doing it his whole life. He's been doing it his whole life. He's been molesting kids his whole life. Hare Krishna kids. Do you really think he stopped? Like he just stopped cold turkey? Not only that, but they've never paid for their crimes. They've never suffered for their... Oh, what? Oh, you had to go away from ISKCON for a year? You couldn't give a lecture for a year? Like, you belong in a jail, and you know what happened to you in jail? You know how long Bhavananda would last in jail? Like in Rikers Island or Folsom San Quentin or something? He'd be lucky to last a month. Word would get out who he was. All over. It's over. It's over. Bhaktividyapurna, same thing. They wouldn't make it. They'd find out who these guys. Oh, that's the Hare Krishna. It's the Hare Krishna guy. He molested how many kids? Little boys? Little girls? He wouldn't make it to lunch. He wouldn't make it to lunch. And he's sitting up there giving lectures like he's friggin' the Dalai Lama. Like he's gonna teach somebody something to make their life better. When you've raped more little kids, you've damaged more little kids than who knows what. And you're gonna sit there and lecture about how to love somebody or something. How to make your life better. That fuck. The fucking Bhavananda. I was having sex with a young boy in the temple room because he didn't believe this shit. He didn't believe in Krishna. He didn't believe that statues and Krishna is real. He didn't believe any of that shit. This is all just fucking a place for him to live, free food, free room, and little boys to molest. That's all it is. Guy's 75 years old. He ain't never done nothing but been a pedophile his whole life. He ain't getting no Social Security. He ain't getting no pension. He ain't got no life insurance. He ain't got no health care. What's he gonna fucking do? He's gonna sit in friggin' India in Mayapur and have people fucking worship him, and he's gonna molest as many little kids as he can until he fucking drops dead. Think he's gonna fucking change his life now? The fuck? All those fuckers, man. Bhavananda, Bhaktavidya Purna, Lokanath Swami. Who else? Who else is a motherfucking piece of shit? Molesting little kids, molesting little girls, marrying little kids, little girls off to grown men, raping 13-year-old girls behind the stage at a Hare Krishna festival. If you don't think that your kid is in danger, just being around these people. That 13-year-old girl was at a Hare Krishna festival, and the guy that was on stage took that little girl behind the stage and raped her, and then went back and got on stage. That's how these people think. They don't fucking care. They think they believe women are less intelligent. Women deserve it. Women like it. That's what they think. I don't give a fuck. And you're gonna sit on a fucking chair and sit there in a temple and tell me about how to love God and how to love man and people and be vegetarian? You want me to give up eating meat while you turn around and fucking rape little boys? You got the nerve stand out there in front of the temple, stick a fucking book in my face telling me to be vegetarian while you guys are fucking raping little boys in your fucking school? Fucking nerve. The audacity, the fucking arrogance. The fucking arrogance of these people. The arrogance of these people. Think that they are just friggin' God's gift. And doing this shit is somehow doing something for someone. if I stand around and jump up and down and chant this mantra that somehow I'm saving the fucking world. They're saving the world by singing and dancing and jumping up and down. Meanwhile, they don't know how to fucking take care of their kids. Fucking pieces of shit. All right, I'm done. Like every show, I get so fucking pissed off I gotta cut it off. But I've been ranting long enough. But so that's what they do inside the Hare Krishna temple. They sing and dance, jump up and down. They lecture and read from books that talk about how women are less intelligent. Women like to be raped. They put their children in danger. They don't know how to take care of their own children. They smack their women around, beat their kids, glorify this Prabhupada guy who said that Hitler was a gentleman, said blacks belong in the jungle, civil rights was a failure, blacks were better off as slaves, should never have been given freedom. Women are 9 times lustier than men. Can't be trusted. Women are like little children, he said. Women are like little children. You have to protect them, and you have to watch over them, and you have to make sure they're okay. Because they're like little kids. That's what these people are, in a nutshell. Meanwhile, they want to tell you how to live, and how you should live your life. Meanwhile, these guys. Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Get the word out. These fucking freaks. Can't stand these fucking pieces of shit. Let's get the word out. Like, share, subscribe. And do what you can. Share my videos, please. Give me a thumbs up and everything. And have a great night, a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. And have some great luck. Support freedom. Support freedom around the world. We all need to be free. And let's see. Let's watch a little something, I guess. Here we go. Thanks, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
I was in the bar for a drink or two. I met a girl named Mary Lou. Her blue jeans were so tight and cut so low. Those jeans were stretched across her butt. On a belt she wore a rabbit's foot, and I couldn't help but see her camel toe. Mary Lou had a camel toe.
Means that และกลับเข้าสู่ My Man All Time DPK1radio.com Whatever, I'll do what I want. You're listening to Mike's Madhouse on DPK1radio.com.
I'm worried about God. I'm afraid of what he might do if anything should happen to me.
God, but he's a robot. Without you, what could he do?
There's no limit to what he could do. He could destroy the earth. If anything should happen to me, you must go to God. You must say these words.
Dumalang, video Zuzi, and ready to Mike's Madhouse, more BKK1radio.com.
And now, it's time for the Dumb American on Mike's Madhouse.
Back to dope tunes and stupid talk with White Boy Mike on Mike's Madhouse.